We're back with a bonus conversation you'll only see here on CBS News New York. And we thought it would be interesting to let everyday New Yorkers question the mayor. So, Mr. Mayor, first of all, Steve from the Village has a question about outdoor dining. Let's listen.
Mayor Adams, when are we going to get rid of these restaurant sheds that are blocking the streets? They were meant to be gone, wasn't it? In the winter, he said they had to go. Seems like some of them are staying. Some of them are a mess and they're dangerous. Some of them are blocking good parking spots, which we need. Some of them are decent, but a lot of them still kind of are in disrepair. And are they going to go or are they staying?
Steve has a question. Mayor has a...
I heard outdoor dining. It was a little low. He said that...
He basically, what he said was he wants to know when outdoor dining is going to continue, if the sheds are going to be taken down. He wants his parking spaces back. I know you've heard that one before.
Yes. But another victory for the Speaker and I, that the outdoor dining program is the most extensive in the country, saved hundreds of thousands of jobs. It has brought a new flair to our city, particularly during the summertime. Outdoor dining is here to stay. We're going to take down the unsightly sheds, and we're going to make sure people adhere to the policy.
So what about some of these restaurateurs who say, you know, who's going to pay the cost of taking them down in the winter and putting them back up in the summer? Is the city going to give them any money, or is this just the cost of doing business?
Well, believe it or not, when they first put them up, they were not being charged that additional space, you know, which was a real win for many of them. It was a lifeline. I really take my hat off
to Bill. That was during COVID.
Right. Take my hat off to the former mayor for just even thinking this through, and Marjorie Velasquez, who was the real architect of this new bill. And so we want to keep down the cost as much as possible. Standardized, has to be clean, because you know it. I hate rats, and they were using it as their summer home, and we wanted to get rid of that and do it right.
Next question. Maggie from Manhattan wants to know about sky-high rents.
Mayor Adams, I want to know what you're going to do about housing inequality in Manhattan specifically and all over the 5 boroughs.
Housing inequality.
Well, listen, I will say it from one of the philosophers of our time: the rent is too damn high. You know, I'm the first to tell you that. And I made an agreement with my tenants that moved into my building years ago that I was not going to raise their rent as long as they were there, and I have not. How do we bring down housing costs? We look at the fact that we have 1.4% vacancy rate in the city and almost zero.
That means you have to build more housing.
There you go.
City of yes.
Exactly. And that's what Maggie should do. She should be talking to her local council people and say, let's help the mayor build more housing. We have 64 builders that want to do office conversion. We want more to do it. But she should speak to her local council person and say, City of yes, let's build more housing.
So how do you sell the City of yes to people who are afraid of living in a construction zone for years and years?
By telling them, think about their loved ones, their family members. Think about those who are living in homeless shelters. People should have a right to housing. We've financed more affordable housing in 1 year in the history of the city, transitioned more people out of shelters into permanent housing in the history of the city, and same with theft vouchers. But the reality is you cannot create thousands more jobs than the number of people that are looking for housing. We have to build more.
Josh from Peter Cooper Village has a question about cars and traffic.
Mayor Adams, I'd like to know about the bike infrastructure and what can be done about the passenger traffic, reducing passenger traffic in Manhattan. I think there's too many cars on the street with 1 or 2 passengers in it that take up a lot of room, and having more space for pedestrians and bicycles would be great.
I love it. Agree with him. And that's why we build bike lanes. That's why we're supporter of bus lanes in the right locations. You know, I'm a biker. I don't get to ride as much as I want to, but I agree 100%. But you need a first-class transportation system in order to do that.
So use your imagination.
Yes.
What will the streets of New York City look like in 5 years?
We don't have to use our imagination. We go to some of the European countries. You're going to see a greater use of biking, as Commissioner Cortez Vasquez is doing with our seniors, showing them the excitement of biking, protected bike lanes, encourage people to do it more. You're going to see more user space. Our amazing public realm officer, as we're starting to change the landscape. People love to see an expanded Fifth Avenue. How do you shop more, these larger boulevards, you're going to see a street where you're more use of everyday New Yorkers.
Okay, and last but not least, Jordan from Brooklyn is a bit more philosophical. He has this question.
Mayor Adams, I want to know who you are as a person. Like, who are you organically? Do you know yourself? How have you changed from like when you were about like 17, 16, or even like when you were 20?
So who are you and how have you changed since you were a teenager?
And that is a great question. I'm a person that believes in God and believes in the people of the city. This is the greatest city on the globe. And he reminded me of my son, Jordan, as we sit down and talk about who I was at 17.
Now, who were you at 17?
I was a inquisitive, a scared young man that felt that because of my learning disability, I would never become who I ought to be. And, you know, mommy said that, baby, you got this. And she was right, because I got this. I'm the 110th mayor of the city of New York.
So how did it change? What changed for you that made you get from scared kid to mayor of the city of New York?
People, you know, everyday people who, even when I didn't believe in myself, they were there to give me the support. You know, this is a place that is made up of really good people. We focus on the skyscrapers and tall buildings, but there's some tall heroes in this city. And I meet them every day, and they played a major role in my life.
So what advice do you have for people Jordan's age that are coming of age in very different times than you came of age?
And you're so right. Good Lord, I thank God that I raised Jordan already. For parents nowadays, these babies are being inundated with so much that we were never exposed to. But I say to those young people, stay focused. No distractions, and grind. People wake up every day trying to figure out how they're going to take them off their path. If you can stay focused and not be distracted and work hard, there's nothing that's unattainable for you.
Words to live by in the Adams administration. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining me, and thank you at home for joining me as well.